Iran tried to choke the world's oil supply, and CNN, they tried to choke the truth. But President Trump, he didn't flinch. He didn't beg. He went full throttle. With one brutal strike, he crippled Iran's nuclear program, and then, with a smile on his face, he dropped a second bomb on the fake news media. So today I want to go ahead and break down what might be the most brilliant geopolitical move of our time. Trump didn't need a new war. He used oil like a weapon, and now he's calling it exactly what it is. He's calling it the new nuke. But you're not going to hear that from CNN, of course. They rushed out there to say that the strikes had failed. They, of course, parroted Iran's propaganda. They even questioned our own military pilots. Oh, and wait until you hear who's really behind those anonymous leaks to the press. It's absolutely disgusting, guys. So in today's video, I want to go deep inside of this Iran strike, the oil offensive, and President Trump's total takedown of CNN. It was brilliant, okay? Oh, you're going to hear what he told Netanyahu mid-air, what IAEA and Joint Chiefs are confirming, and why President Trump just told Putin, "You're next." All right, we got to get into this. So let's go ahead and break this down, starting with what really happened when Iran tried to block the world's most critical oil supply line, and how Trump used America's oil dominance to end the threat without using a single U.S. casualty. By the way, if you appreciate the daily news updates, please take a second and hit the like button for the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's get one thing straight right off the bat. President Trump didn't just respond to Iran's threats with force. He responded with something that was even more powerful. Not bombs, not sanctions, not empty words. He responded with barrels of American oil and a strategy that the world really hasn't seen before. So while the media was foaming at the mouth, screaming about war and nuclear Armageddon, President Trump, he sat down aboard Air Force One and said something that will probably be studied in military academias and economic summits for decades. What he said was brilliant. He said, oil is the new nuke. And with that one single phrase, he didn't just launch an energy policy. He launched a global doctrine, a new way for America to project power without ever firing a shot. Now ask yourself this: what other president has ever pulled that off? Let me break it down for you. In the old world, power came from threats, weapons, boots on the ground, right? Tanks and whatnot. But in 2025, under President Trump's America First leadership, the new weapon isn't uranium, it's Texas crude, it's Gulf Coast LNG, it's American energy dominance, pure and simple. Because oil doesn't just run cars, it runs countries. And when you control energy, you control leverage. When you control negotiations, you control pricing. You can bankrupt tyrants without ever even setting foot on their soil. So this is why President Trump said it so clearly. Oil is the new nuke. But here's what separates Trump from every weak-kneed leader that came before him. We didn't stop at theory. The moment Iran decided to rattle their saber and you know, the Strait of Hormuz became a flashpoint, the very moment oil or global oil markets started shaking, President Trump, he didn't hold a press conference. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't hide behind international norms. He just gave a command that echoed from the Oval Office all the way to the oil fields of West Texas. He said, "Drill, baby, drill. Now, no hesitation, no delay." That order triggered one of the largest domestic energy surges in modern U.S. history. Rigs fired up. LNG terminals extended shipping contracts. Pipeline projects previously stalled under the old administration, they were suddenly pushed forward with lightning speed. And it wasn't just about producing more oil. It was about sending a message to the world. If you mess with the free flow of oil, you won't choke America. America will just drown you in supply. So this is economic warfare at genius level, and President Trump is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Iran thought that they could get away with spiking oil prices by threatening the world's most vital waterway. President Trump's response? Oh, we'll just go ahead and flood the global market with cheap American oil. Push prices down, not up. Remove Iran's only bargaining chip. And it worked. Within 24 hours, oil dropped $10 per barrel. Gas stations across the country adjusted their gas prices downward, not upward. The stock market rallied, investors exhaled, and most importantly, the American people got immediate relief without a single life lost. That wasn't just strategy. That was compassion. This was President Trump putting the American worker, the American driver, and the American family first without compromising strength. Now, let's be real. CNN didn't like that. They wanted panic. They wanted war. They were ready to run 72 hours of emergency coverage screaming Trump's Middle East crisis, right? But Trump didn't give them a crisis. He gave them results. And trust me, guys, we're just getting started, because I want to walk you through how Iran made their next mistake, how President Trump responded not just with energy dominance, but with surgical military precision that left Tehran reeling and CNN desperate to spin the truth. Oh, we need to talk about this Operation Midnight Hammer. We're going to talk about the bunker busters. And of course, we're going to talk about how the media tried to lie to your face about what really happened and ultimately got exposed in the worst way possible. Now, if you're living on Social Security, then you already know $50 here, $100 there, it all adds up, right? Well, Medicare can be a major burden, very expensive, unless you get help. Cecil Frith Sr., he said it best. He said, Ron, I'm saving $166 a month when Social Security is all you've got. That is a sweet raise. Can anybody agree with Cecil? Julie from Kansas, she said she was overpaying for doctor visits and now she's saving $400 a year thanks to Chapter. So whether you're on a tight budget or you just want to keep more of what's yours, do not skip this. Give our friends at Chapter a call right now. Phone numbers down below on your screen and in the pinned comment, or you can hit up Chapter on their website. Probably even better and faster and easier. Go to askchapter.org/Ron. Links in the description down below. Chapter just helps real people, everyday real people, save money. That's all they do. Oh, that mention is totally free. Hit them up right now. So now, when you thought it just couldn't get any hotter, Iran made their move. After weeks of American energy dominance stealing the headlines, Iranian parliament voted on something very reckless, something that could have dragged the entire world into chaos. They announced their intent to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the very choke point where 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil globally flows every single day. Guys, I'm talking like 20 million barrels a day. One narrow passageway. And suddenly, Iran's Revolutionary Guard was making noise about blockades, missile batteries, and mine-laying operations. Folks, let me be clear. This wasn't just a threat to Israel. This was a threat to Asia, to Europe, to you at the gas pump. And what does President Trump do? He rushed to put boots on the ground? No, he didn't do that. He did not rush to put boots on the ground. Did he escalate into a ground war like the Warhawks wanted him to do? Of course not. He's not going to fall for their trap. Instead, what President Trump did is he delivered a message. It was rather clear, very calculated, and deadly effective. Because right after Iran's threat, Trump authorized Operation Midnight Hammer. Now, you may or may not have heard about this, but you're not going to hear about this from corporate media. But I want to tell you guys what really happened. In the dark hour before dawn, 7 B-2 stealth bombers launched from U.S. bases and began their silent descent across the skies of the Middle East. Targeting wasn't random. It was surgical. Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow, right? These were not just buildings. These were the backbone of Iran's underground nuclear program. I'm talking facilities buried beneath mountains, hardened against decades of strikes, right? But this wasn't 2012, and this wasn't Barack Obama. These were precision bunker buster bombs, each designed to penetrate hundreds of feet of reinforced concrete and then detonate with lethal accuracy. And they worked. Every target was obliterated. No civilian casualties, no American casualties, and no endless war. So this was strength without recklessness. This was power with restraint. This was Trump's America. And so now, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, the damage was far worse than Iran or even CNN will admit. Their inspectors believe that the sites are now contaminated with hazardous materials unusable for years, maybe even decades. Even Obama's own CIA director admitted that the strike set Iran's nuclear ambitions back at least 5 to 7 years. Think about that, right? In a single night, Trump's strike wiped out a decade's worth of enrichment, forced Iran into economic panic, and did it without a single American boot hitting the sand. That's real leadership. That's how you keep America safe without dragging her into endless wars. And this is what President Trump promised back in 2016 and again in 2024. And now in 2025, he's delivering. But of course, while Trump was dismantling Iran's nukes, CNN was over here busy launching something else, a media disinformation campaign designed to cover, believe it or not, to cover for Iran and discredit Trump's success. Yeah, go figure. So they trotted out their anonymous Pentagon sources. They ran banners claiming the strike barely scratched the surface. They called it a PR stunt. But here's the kicker. None of it was true. And of course, I want to talk to you. I want to really just kind of expose their lies, the leakers, the media cover up that blew up right in CNN's face. And you're going to hear what President Trump said directly to the press. You'll hear how the Joint Chiefs of Staff and even international watchdogs shut down CNN. You're going to hear how the fake news machine is now begging for damage control while the truth is exploding across the globe. So now, if you thought Iran was desperate after Operation Midnight Hammer, just wait until you see what CNN did next. The bombs were dropped, targets were destroyed, and across the globe, even America's enemies were silent. But not CNN. Oh, their mouths were flapping in the wind. They couldn't stay quiet because to them, Trump winning is the real threat. You see what I'm saying here? So what did they do? They ran wall-to-wall coverage parroting Iranian state propaganda. They cited anonymous Pentagon leakers who claimed the bunker busters barely made a dent. They said that Iran's nuclear sites were still mostly intact. So, and they told you, the American people, that Trump's strike achieved almost nothing. So let me ask you this. Whose side are they on? Because when a news network chooses to repeat talking points from a regime that chants death to America over acknowledging the precision and the success of our own military operation, that's not journalism, is it? That's treason with a camera crew. And President Trump didn't let it slide. From the tarmac to the rally stage to the Resolute desk, he made it crystal clear. CNN owes our pilots an apology. MSNBC is defending terrorists. These people are gutless losers. He clearly did not mince words. He didn't play politics. He stood up for the American military, for the truth, for every citizen being gaslit by fake news machines. Now, here's the part that, was probably arguably the best part. He was right. Because while CNN was busy crafting fiction, real intelligence was pouring in. The International Atomic Energy Agency confirmed massive damage to all 3 nuclear sites. U.S. surveillance drones showed collapsed tunnel systems, thermal anomalies, and signs of radioactive leakage. The Joint Chiefs of Staff released a briefing calling the strike a textbook demonstration of accuracy, depth, and extreme devastation. Even Obama's former CIA director had to admit, live on television, that Trump's operation had likely set the Iranian nuclear program back years, not months. So while CNN clung to their anonymous sources, if they even exist, the actual facts, the actual intelligence, and the actual experts left them humiliated. So you want to talk about propaganda? Look no further than Chiron at the bottom of your screen, okay? Because CNN doesn't want you to know that Trump outmaneuvered Iran without war and outclassified the media without fear. This isn't just about foreign policy. This is about This is about a media machine that hates Trump more than it loves America. But guess what, guys? The American people are waking up. They saw the missiles drop. They saw the prices fall. They saw peace take hold. And they also know who's behind it. President Donald J. Trump. So let's shift for a second here, okay? I want to shift from destruction to domination, because while Iran is out there scrambling to recover from one of the most precision strikes in modern history, while CNN drowns in its own lies, President Trump's already 3 steps ahead of these guys. No, he's not calling for regime change. He's not planting flags or toppling over governments. He's doing it far more dangerous. Guys, what Trump is doing is far more dangerous to our enemies and far more rewarding to the American people than any of that. President Trump just offered Iran a choice, and he said it plain and simple: trade, not terror. Think about it, right? Trump isn't seeking war. He's offering redemption through capitalism, but only on his terms. Iran can walk away from the nuclear dream, embrace oil commerce, and even become the trading powerhouse that they were meant to be. He's giving them, he's extending an olive branch, so to speak. They're good traders, Trump said, but they're never getting a nuclear weapon. That's the deal that's on the table. No secret back channel, no pallets of cash in the dead of night like Obama did. This is transparency with teeth. Either drop the rockets and start doing business, or get steamrolled by the full force of American oil and economic supremacy. And guess what? Iran isn't the only one watching. China is watching. They import 84% of their oil through the Strait of Hormuz. And guess who now controls the global flow without even lifting a warship? The United States. Europe is watching. After decades of NATO freeloading, European leaders are now finally stepping up. So when Trump landed in the Netherlands just days after the strike, he didn't walk into controversy. He walked into applause. A European defense senator stood before the cameras and said, look, hey, thanks to you pushing us, President Trump, we are equalizing defense spending with the United States. Guys, it's happening, folks. While the media told you Trump was isolated, while Biden begged for coalitions and bribes for cooperation, Trump did it with leverage, with oil, with strength. He gave America something that it hadn't had in decades: global respect without global dependence. No backroom deals, no endless conflicts, just clear expectations and consequences if it gets ignored. And the best part, we're already seeing peace through pressure, not peace through appeasement. That's the Trump doctrine, and it's working. But of course, we need to go back to the phrase that started it all. 5 words that rewrote the rules of law, diplomacy, and global leadership. Oil is the new nuke. When President Trump said that, he wasn't joking. He wasn't being dramatic. He was revealing the entire foundation of his 2025 doctrine. Use oil to reshape the world without dropping a single American soldier into a war zone. Think about it, right? Nuclear weapons threatened annihilation, but oil threatens compliance. Oil can cripple economies. It can force nations to the table and keep bad actors in check quietly, strategically, and without a single civilian casualty. And when America controls the oil, America controls the outcomes. Under Biden, the U.S. was begging OPEC. Under Trump, we buried them in supplies. We became the largest exporter. We replaced bombs with barrels and got better results. And that's not just policy, there's power. And yet, even as the proof stared them in the face, even as gas prices dropped, as peace held, and as enemy regimes buckled, the corporate media still could not say 3 simple words: Trump was right. So what did they do instead? They panicked. They gaslit. They tried to rewrite history before your very eyes. CNN and MSNBC, they went into emergency spin mode, claiming the strikes failed, ignoring the oil price collapse, and pushing leaks from faceless Pentagon insiders who no longer even have clearance. But at that point, it was already too late. Their narrative collapsed, their credibility crumbled, and the American people, they saw it all. They saw a president who actually defended the military, not smeared it. They saw a president who used drilling, not drafting, to neutralize threats. They saw peace in the Middle East, cheap gas, and no flag draped coffins. So for the first time in a very long time, they believed what they saw, that, not what they were told. So here we go. Joe Biden is gone. The media is exposed. Iran is reeling, and America is coming roaring back because Trump didn't just bomb Iran. He bombed the fake news narrative. He proved that oil is the new nuclear weapon and America holds the bigger trigger, right? And that's what really has them afraid, because he's not just rebuilding this country. He's showing the world that we're not just energy independent, we're energy invincible. So if you're tired of being lied to, I want you to share this video. If you believe oil beats war, drop a comment. And if you're finally seeing the truth behind the headlines, subscribe, hit the bell, and stay locked in, because this isn't just another news cycle. This is the beginning of a new American century. So guys, this is Trump's America, and the fake news, they just can't stop what's coming. We'll see you next time.